Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Vibes.
Hey there! We're so excited to be with you today.
I'm Maya.
And I'm John. We help you practice real English conversations for everyday situations.
Today's topic is super practical. We're going to talk about the airport.
Yes, if you travel internationally, you need to know how to speak English at the airport.
It can be stressful if you don't know what to say, so we're here to help.
If you find this video helpful, please subscribe and hit that like button.
It really means a lot to us. Okay, let's get started.
So, Maya, when was the last time you were at an airport?
Actually, just 2 weeks ago, I flew to visit my family.
Oh, nice. How was the experience?
It was good, but airports are always a bit stressful, you know?
I totally understand. There's so much to remember and so many steps in the process.
Exactly. So let's break it down step by step for everyone watching.
Great idea. Let's start from the very beginning. What's the first thing you do when you arrive at the airport?
The first thing is finding your airline's check-in counter.
Right. Every airline has a different area. There are usually big signs that tell you where to go.
The signs show the airline name and sometimes the flight numbers.
So if you're flying with Delta, you look for the Delta check-in area.
Exactly. Once you find your airline, you get in line to check in.
Now, some people check in online before they get to the airport. Have you done that?
Yes, it's so convenient. You can check in on your phone or computer 24 hours before your flight.
What are the benefits of online check-in?
Well, you can choose your seat in advance, and sometimes you can skip the check-in counter if you don't have bags to check.
Right. If you only have carry-on luggage, you can go straight to security.
But if you have checked baggage, you still need to go to the counter to drop it off.
Let's talk about that. What happens at the check-in counter?
The agent will ask for your passport and sometimes your booking confirmation.
What do they say exactly?
Usually something like, "May I see your passport, please?" Or, "Do you have your booking reference?"
And what do you say?
You just say, "Here you are," or, "Yes, here's my passport," and hand it to them.
Simple. What else do they ask?
They'll ask, "How many bags are you checking today?"
And you tell them the number, like I have 1 bag or I have 2 bags.
Right. Then they'll weigh your luggage to make sure it's not over the weight limit.
What's the usual weight limit?
It depends on the airline, but usually 23 kilograms or 50 pounds for international flights.
What happens if your bag is too heavy?
You either have to pay an extra fee or you have to take some things out and put them in your carry-on.
That's why it's important to weigh your bag at home before you leave.
Definitely. Okay, so after they weigh your bag, what happens next?
They put a tag on your bag with your flight information and destination.
Yes, that tag is very important. It tells the airport workers where to send your bag.
Then they put your bag on the conveyor belt, and it disappears behind a curtain.
It's always a little scary watching your bag disappear.
I know. You just have to trust it will arrive at your destination.
After they take your bag, they give you your boarding pass.
The boarding pass is super important. You need it to get through security and to board the plane.
What information is on the boarding pass?
It has your name, flight number, departure time, gate number, and seat number.
Make sure to check all that information, especially the gate number and boarding time.
Good point. The gate number can sometimes change, so you need to check the screens throughout the airport.
Okay, so now you have your boarding pass. What's the next step?
Next, you go through security screening.
This is the part that takes the longest usually. The lines can be really long.
Especially during busy travel times like holidays or summer.
What do you need to do at security?
First, you get in line and wait your turn. When you get to the front, you show your boarding pass and passport to the security officer.
They check that your documents match and that your ticket is valid.
Then you go to the screening area. This is where you put your belongings in bins.
What do you have to take out of your bag?
You need to take out your laptop, tablet, and any large electronics.
You also need to take out liquids. They have to be in containers of 100 milliliters or less, and all the containers must fit in one clear plastic bag.
That's the 3-1-1 rule in the US. 3.4 ounces or less per container, all in one quart-sized bag, one bag per passenger.
Right. And you need to remove your shoes, belt, jacket, and anything metal.
Why do you have to remove shoes?
For security reasons, they need to scan everything to make sure there's nothing dangerous.
So you put everything in the bins: your bag, shoes, belt, jacket, electronics, and liquids.
Then the bins go through the X-ray machine on a conveyor belt.
And you walk through the metal detector or body scanner.
If the alarm beeps, what happens?
The security officer will do a pat-down search or scan you with a handheld metal detector.
It's nothing to worry about. They're just making sure everyone is safe.
Exactly. After you go through, you collect all your belongings from the bins on the other side.
Make sure you don't forget anything. People often leave their phone or laptop behind.
Good reminder. So now you're through security. What do you do next?
Now you're in the secure area of the airport. You need to find your gate.
Look at your boarding pass to see your gate number. Then look for signs that point you in the right direction.
The signs usually say things like gates A1, A20 with an arrow.
Most airports have different terminals or concourses with different gate letters.
How much time should you give yourself to get to the gate?
It depends on the airport size, but I like to arrive at my gate at least 30 minutes before boarding starts.
That's good advice. Some airports are huge, and it takes 15-20 minutes just to walk to your gate.
Plus, you might want to use the bathroom, get some food, or shop a little.
Speaking of food, let's talk about that. What are your options at the airport?
There are usually restaurants, cafes, and fast food places throughout the airport.
The food is usually more expensive than outside the airport, though.
That's true. Everything at the airport costs more. A bottle of water might be $5 or $6.
So it's a good idea to bring an empty water bottle and fill it up at a water fountain after security.
That's smart. What about duty-free shopping?
Duty-free shops sell things like alcohol, perfume, cosmetics, and luxury goods without tax.
So the prices are lower than in regular stores?
Usually, yes. But you can only use duty-free if you're flying internationally.
And there are limits on how much alcohol you can buy and bring into different countries.
Right. Okay, so you're at your gate. What happens now?
You wait for boarding to begin. Look for screens near the gates that show flight information.
These screens will show the departure time and the boarding status.
When does boarding usually start?
Usually about 30 to 45 minutes before departure time.
They board in groups, right?
Yes, they call different groups based on seat location or ticket class.
First, they usually board passengers who need extra time: elderly people, people with disabilities, and families with small children.
Then they board first class and business class passengers.
After that, they board by zones or groups. Your boarding group is printed on your boarding pass.
What do they announce when it's time to board?
They'll say something like, "We are now boarding Group 1 for Flight 457 to Los Angeles."
Or, we are now inviting passengers in rows 30 to 40 to board.
When your group is called, you get in line at the gate.
What do you show when you get to the gate agent?
You show your boarding pass. Most airlines now use digital boarding passes on your phone.
The agent scans your boarding pass, either the paper one or the one on your phone screen.
Then they say, "Thank you" or "Have a nice flight," and you walk down the jet bridge to the plane.
The jet bridge is the tunnel that connects the gate to the airplane door.
When you get on the plane, the flight attendants greet you.
They might say, "Welcome aboard," or "Hello, how are you today?"
You can just smile and say hello or thank you.
Then you find your seat. The rows are numbered and the seats have letters.
A, B, and C are usually on one side of the aisle, and D, E, F are on the other side.
The seat number is on your boarding pass. For example, seat 23B means row 23, seat B.
When you find your row, you put your carry-on bag in the overhead bin.
Or under the seat in front of you if it's small enough.
Then sit down, buckle your seatbelt, and relax.
What about when the plane lands? What happens then?
When you arrive at your destination, the plane taxis to the gate. You have to stay seated with your seatbelt on until the plane completely stops.
Then the seatbelt sign turns off and people stand up to get their bags from the overhead bins.
Everyone's always in such a hurry to get off the plane.
I know, but you usually have to wait anyway. They open the door and people exit row by row.
When you get off the plane, you follow signs to baggage claim if you check the bag.
Or to ground transportation if you only had carry-on luggage.
At baggage claim, you look for the carousel number for your flight.
The carousel is the moving belt where the bags come out.
You wait there until you see your bag, then grab it and go.
What if your bag doesn't come out?
That's called lost luggage. You need to go to the airline's baggage service office and report it.
They'll ask for your baggage claim ticket and contact information. Then they'll try to locate your bag.
Usually, lost bags are just delayed and arrive on the next flight.
But it's stressful when it happens. That's why I always pack essentials in my carry-on.
Smart thinking. Okay, so after you get your bag, what's next?
If you're arriving internationally, you have to go through customs and immigration.
Let's talk about immigration first. What happens there?
You wait in line to speak with an immigration officer. There are usually different lines, one for citizens and one for visitors.
When it's your turn, you go up to the booth and hand them your passport.
What questions do they ask?
They might ask, what's the purpose of your visit, or how long will you be staying?
You answer honestly. I'm here for vacation, or I'm here for business, or I'm visiting family.
They might ask, where will you be staying?
You tell them your hotel name or your friend's address.
They might also ask, when are you leaving, or do you have a return ticket?
Just answer calmly and truthfully. They're just doing their job to keep the country safe.
After they ask questions, they stamp your passport and say, welcome to country name. Enjoy your stay.
Then you go to customs. What happens at customs?
Customs is where they check if you're bringing anything illegal or items you need to declare.
What does declare mean?
It means to officially tell customs that you're bringing certain items, like a lot of money, food, or expensive purchases.
Most countries give you a customs declaration form to fill out on the plane.
You check boxes to say whether you're bringing food, plants, animals, or large amounts of cash.
If you have nothing to declare, you usually go through the green line or nothing to declare line.
Sometimes they randomly check bags anyway, so be prepared.
What are they looking for?
Prohibited items like certain foods, plants, drugs, or undeclared goods that should be taxed. If everything is okay, they let you through and you're free to leave the airport.
Finally, you made it through the whole airport process.
It sounds like a lot of steps, but once you've done it a few times, it becomes easier.
Exactly. The key is to stay calm and follow the signs and instructions.
Okay, we've covered so much. Let's do a vocabulary review.
Yes, we used tons of airport-specific words today.
First word, boarding pass. A boarding pass is your ticket to get on the airplane.
It shows your name, flight number, seat number, and gate number.
You can have a paper boarding pass or a digital one on your phone.
Next word, check-in. Check-in is the process of registering for your flight and getting your boarding pass.
You can check in online or at the airport counter.
Most airlines let you check in 24 hours before your flight.
Next, carry-on. A carry-on is a small bag you bring with you onto the plane.
It goes in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of you.
Airlines have size limits for carry-on bags, usually around 22 by 14 by 9 inches.
Let's explain checked baggage. Checked baggage is luggage that you give to the airline at check-in.
It goes in the cargo hold under the plane, not in the cabin with passengers.
You pick it up at baggage claim after you land.
Next word, gate. The gate is where you board the airplane.
Each flight has a specific gate number, like gate B7.
You wait at the gate until boarding begins.
Let's talk about layover. A layover is when you have to change planes during your trip.
For example, if you fly from New York to Tokyo with a layover in San Francisco, you change planes in San Francisco.
Layovers can be short, 1 hour, or long, several hours.
Next, customs. Customs is where officers check what you're bringing into a country.
You have to declare certain items like food, large amounts of money, or expensive goods.
Customs makes sure you're not bringing anything illegal or avoiding taxes.
Let's explain departure. Departure means leaving or taking off.
The departure time is when your plane is scheduled to leave.
The departure gate is where you leave from.
Next word, arrival. Arrival means coming or landing.
The arrival time is when your plane is scheduled to land at the destination.
You pick up your bags at the arrival area after landing.
Last word, turbulence. Turbulence is when the plane shakes or bumps during flight.
It happens when the plane flies through unstable air.
Turbulence can be scary, but it's usually not dangerous.
Perfect! So we learned boarding pass, check-in, carry-on, checked baggage, gate, layover, customs, departure, arrival, and turbulence.
That's 10 essential airport words.
These words will help you navigate any airport in the world.
Now it's your turn. We have a question for you.
Write in the comments, what's your favorite airport and why?
Or tell us about a funny or interesting airport experience you've had.
We love reading your stories and learning about your travels.
Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already.
And turn on notifications so you don't miss our future videos.
Safe travels, everyone.
See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Quick vocabulary review. 1. Boarding pass. Ticket to get on the airplane. 2. Check-in. Process of registering for your flight. 3. Carry-on. Small bag you bring on the plane. 4. Checked baggage. Luggage that goes in cargo hold. 5. Gate. Area where you board the airplane. 6. Layover. Stop where you change planes. 7. Customs, where officers check what you're bringing in. 8. Departure, leaving or taking off. 9. Arrival, coming or landing. 10. Turbulence, when the plane shakes during flight. Essential airport phrases. At check-in. I'd like to check in for my flight to destination. I have one bag to check. Can I have a window or aisle seat? Here's my passport and booking confirmation. At security. Where should I put my laptop? Do I need to remove my shoes? Can I keep my jacket on? At the gate. Is this the gate for flight number to destination? When does boarding start? Has my flight been delayed? Which group am I in? On the plane. Excuse me, I think that's my seat. Can you help me put my bag in the overhead bin? May I have some water, please? Where is the bathroom? At immigration. I'm here for vacation, business, visiting family. I'll be staying for number, days, weeks. I'm staying at hotel name, address. Here's my return ticket. At customs. I have nothing to declare. I'm bringing some gifts for my family. These are personal items. At baggage claim. Where is carousel number? My bag hasn't arrived yet. I need to report lost luggage. Airport travel tips. 1. Arrive early. 2 hours for domestic, 3 hours for international flights. 2. Check in online. Saves time at the airport. 3. Pack smart. Follow liquid rules. Weigh your bags at home. 4. Charge your devices. You'll need your phone for boarding passes. 5. Bring an empty water bottle. Fill it after security. 6. Wear comfortable shoes, easy to remove at security. 7. Keep documents handy, passport, boarding pass, customs forms. 8. Take a photo of your luggage, helpful if it gets lost. 9. Know your rights. Understand airline policies on delays and cancellations. 10. Stay calm and patient. Airports are stressful for everyone. Safe travels. Have a wonderful flight.